Hi, everybody. This is Laura Donnelly from The Healing Path. And I wanted to welcome you to this series of conversations and let you know that as the founder of Dancing with Ease and Body Brain Balance, I believe that all healing starts with self healing and then it ripples out. So I have organized this series of conversations with friends and colleagues who work in all areas of the healing field. So if you have curiosity about a topic, drop it in the comments, and I probably know somebody who does that practice, and I can find them and share it with you here. Today's guest is Colette Reilly, and she is a success through happiness coach. And I think we just had a quick pre-show conversation, and we just laughed and had such a great time. So I'm going to bring Colette onto the screen and let her introduce herself. Hi, Colette.
Hello. Yeah, introducing yourself, that's always interesting. You did a lovely job. I'm Colette. I help people get success, which is basically experiencing the results that you want in your life through getting your happy on and kind of busting through the myths of what happiness actually is, because it's more than the happy clappy feel good feels. It's getting juicy and discovering your purpose and creating meaning in your life too. So that's what I do for a job. How cool is that?
It is so interesting to think about defining what happiness is.
Yeah.
Is that a place people can start in their, like, what is happy for them, or what allows them to feel happy?
Well, yeah. It's really you. Obviously, I'm in Scotland. Well, not obviously. I'm in Scotland. I'm a Scot in Scotland. And we've got quite a bad syndrome going on here, tall poppy syndrome, where we do like to put each other down and how are you? Fine. It's not a great thing to kind of sing about life or anything like that. And if, there's a culture of don't get too big for your boots. So understanding what happiness is to begin with and actually allowing yourself to feel those feel good feels is quite an important thing. And understanding that happiness is more than just feeling feel good feels, that it is about that meaning and purpose, again, is a really important thing to understand, because when we have that holistic view of happiness and we are then able to feel that holistic view of happiness and experience it, that's where the joy is. That's when good things happen, because we're in that vibration. So just naturally things unfold from there. Whereas we've got a Protestant work ethic of a culture that hard work is good work. And it's all about we've got to take action. Action is really important, but we don't have to create a life that's really, really hard. And my mission is to change that mindset and encourage people to embrace happiness, because not only is it good for creating good results, it's really important for our well-being.
I think you're right. Sometimes I don't feel so happy. Things aren't, I don't know, flowing right. I don't know, or I
Yep.
just, like, my we used to say in my house, got up on the wrong side of bed.
Yeah.
But what I sometimes do is take my coffee and sit outside and watch the birds and watch my backyard, just look at my backyard. And that shifts my mood just a little bit. And I don't have to stay in that bad mood.
Indeed.
And I think what I heard from you, or what you were saying, is also that happiness, it's how it sounds when you talk about it, is it's kind of like a bubble that you're in, and things can happen and you can be unhappy for a little bit, but you have these things in your life that you've identified that bring you joy and happiness, and you can choose to turn back to those things instead of staying in a cycle of unhappy ideas or actions?
Absolutely. So happiness on one level is simply an emotion. And like any emotion, it reflects our state in that moment and that moment only. So as you were saying, of course, we wake up and things go on in our life, and we experience different feelings in our body that we then conceptualize and label with emotional terms: happiness, sadness, joy, whatever we choose. And that's just one understanding of happiness. And when we know it's just an emotion and just a feeling and a representation of what's going on in that moment, it's a lot easier to know that this will pass. So we can just go and grab ourselves a cup of water, a drink of tea, go for a shower, go for a walk, have a conversation with a friend, do whatever we know is our kind of happiness recipe.
Right.
And that will help shift whatever emotion we were in, because emotions are energy in motion. Shift that state from the not so nice feel goods to the feel goods. But then we've got that deeper level of happiness. In positive psychology, the two elements are hedonic happiness, and that's the feel good feels. And then you've got the eudaimonic, which is the meaningful life. And it's when we bring both of them together that's where the beauty happens, because you're absolutely right. We don't feel good all the time, and that's okay. That does not mean you're not living a good life. So people can live a really hedonically happy life and, create wonderful feel-good experiences and feel really empty inside because they're not connected to something bigger than them. And equally for the people who are connected to something that's really important to them, some of life's givers, the carers in the world who are really, they're really focused on making sure other people are okay and are really connected to that greater meaning, often they're not allowing the hedonic happiness, the feel good feels. So we need a balance of both to really be, to have our best experience of being human.
So when you work with people, how do you help them start to achieve this kind of balance in their lives?
Well, it starts with awareness, doesn't it? And for me, the way I introduce it is through the foundations of life. And life is simple. It might not be easy all the time, but it's certainly simple. So I like the acronym ABCDE, and that represents the foundations of life. So A is alignment and appreciation. B is beliefs of brilliance. C is clarity and creation. D is doing it the playful way. And E is energy and emotions. So when we raise our awareness of all of these different aspects, then that's when we've got a kind of a basic understanding of life, which we can then leverage, because we know what it's like when, well, maybe not, we don't actually know what it's like to build a house, but without strong foundations, you can absolutely build anything, but it will crumble. You'll be very sad. So the foundations for life are to raise awareness of that, so that whatever we build, we're building it on something strong.
That sounds really beautiful. And I loved is it the number 4 about with fun or playfulness?
Doing it the playful way, yes. Because not all action is equal, is it?
No. No. Well, I actually I say something similar to that. I got a friend and she was like, I got to do my taxes. I really don't want to do my taxes. And she was like, and I said, how easily could you do your taxes and have fun doing them? And she's like, okay, now I have to go get a drink of water and think about that because it never occurred to me that my taxes could be easy and that getting them done could be fun. I said, the actual doing might not be so fun, but it might be. Who knows what you discover? And certainly having them done is fun.
Ah,
And
yeah,
so she was like, wow. And so I can see how doing the things with playfulness, this we talked about this a little bit right before we started, about like how goals can feel so heavy,
yeah,
you know, and this is my goal and I must reach it, and then and if you don't, you feel a little bit or a big bit bad because you didn't reach it. But when we play, for me, the whole idea of play is so much more easy. I have an idea, maybe I'm playing baseball, I want to hit the ball, but if I don't, we're all having a good time together anyway, and we just try it again. It's not like my whole life is messed up if I didn't hit that ball. But if I have a goal, say a goal in my business or a goal in my life, I can feel really bad if I take a step off the path.
yeah,
If I think I want to eat more healthily, right? And I decide to do that with fun and playfulness. And so maybe I decide I really want to have something orange at every meal. I can do anything I want, right? Then I can have orange juice at breakfast. I can have a tangerine at lunch. I don't know what I'll have in the dinner time, but anyway.
but yeah, where it's life is a big journey of self-discovery, and doing it the playful way kind of ties into the beliefs of brilliance being radical acceptance, responsibility, and compassion. So when we build in a routine of reflection, so what's working well, what's not, how far have I come in terms of where I'm at now, is this where I want to be? Because it's okay to readjust things, and have that spirit of, right, okay, I am where I am, and that's okay, that's acceptance. So wherever you are right now, it's okay. And the sooner we're okay with that, then the more energy we've got to pivot if it's necessary to pivot, or, skip to radical compassion to go, all right, okay, I didn't get as far as I wanted to. However, that's okay. Rather than beating myself up with a big stick or engaging in a narrative about blaming other people and why have they done X, Y, and Z, let's be compassionate towards other people, compassionate towards ourselves, pick ourselves up and just keep, one foot in front of the other, having as much fun as we can while we're at it, and then see where it takes us. Because at the end of the day, success is a compound effect of teeny, 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 tiny actions. But we spend such a big amount of energy beating ourselves up and engaging in ineffective kind of storytelling. So
yeah, so I think what I heard you say is like, I love that about the acceptance, because when we are in a state of rejecting a piece of ourselves or how we are, that piece pushes back on us more strongly, and we're kind of stuck in this thing, and being able to go forward is twice as hard. And if I just say, well, this is where I am right now, and what is one step better than this, or one step easier, or one step happier, I kind of got rid of better in my life.
better than what?
Yeah, better than what? And this idea that I have to constantly improve. Do I have to constantly improve? Or can I just allow myself to happily be more present each moment?
Beautiful. What I was going to say there was, when you come from the belief that the universe has our back, whatever is happening, no matter how deeply unpleasant or how unsupported we feel in that moment, there's a greater kind of picture at work. So where we're at right now, that's serving us in some way. There's a gift in that when we're willing to pause and not get caught up in the big hamster wheel of busyness, that we're more likely to find it. So that's the beauty of not actually being where you want to be, because where you think you want to be might not really be where you need to be right now. It's kind of like playing Super Mario or something, and all the coins and things are over here, but you're desperate to be there. Well, actually, the gold's here. The gold's here. Just catch the coins.
Right. No, it's so fun to talk to you, because you kind of come from a different point of view, a different, what I would call spoke on the hub, how to get to this place of acceptance and joy and building your life around the things that are meaningful to you. And this is what I love about healing, is that there's not one path, there's not one road, there's not one right way to do it.
No, there's really not. There's really not. My modality is better than your modality is such a pile of nonsense. We're all playing the game of life here, so let's just play with it. Whatever is resonating with you at the moment, whatever you're being drawn to, just allow yourself to be drawn to that and experience it. And if it works for you in that moment and you get something from that, then that's great. And then you might want more of that, and you might want to try something else, and all of that's okay. That's life.
I really think so. And this idea that even if you're working on something, like you said, that's a mess, that's difficult, that's hard and challenging, sometimes it can be a real problem, physical pain problem,
Yep.
But if we accept that this is where we are right now and begin to be curious, what is this? Because nothing really happens like overnight. It really, we got where we are by taking a series of steps down a certain road.
Yeah.
And we ended up here. And I say to myself, joyfully, I ended up here where I get to have a conversation with you. And everything funneled into that direction. And so stepping forward into the next adventure, I have been trying this year to pay attention to what brings me joy and not to be doing so many things that don't bring me joy. This is my house cleaning is a little bit falling behind.
And that's okay.
It is. And I think I can feel it kind of coming. It's spring and spring cleaning. I can kind of feel a little bubbling of interest and happiness in the idea that I could, just like my garden, I tear out all the old things in my garden so that there's room to plant new stuff. And I'm starting to have that feeling because I quit telling myself I was a terrible housekeeper. And now I'm trying to have this feeling of, can I discover the fun and what is possible in my space if I let go of the things that have matured and finished their purpose in my life, and really I need to let them go on to somebody else or out the door or to the garbage bin. But it's starting, I can feel it. And this is interesting because I know you're talking about like alignment. I was out of alignment before. Now, I was out of alignment with what I thought I wanted, which was this neat house, and what I wanted to do. I had other things I wanted to do, and that was far down on my list. And so those things were in opposition. I just kind of say, well, like, how joyfully can I clean off this little space on my counter? And take a baby step, just take a baby step. I made some progress.
Absolutely.
And it makes me happy to see it then,
And alignment in essence is just having a clear channel to your natural connection to you and the wider world and the wonderful universe around us. Whatever that means to you, whatever term works for you. So the more we are accepting of right now, and the more we're present in right now, because this very second is the only thing that we've got. Everything else, we're either thinking about the past or thinking about the future. We've only got this nanosecond. How are we using it? And the more we are present, then that is alignment.
I love that.
That's all we've got. And the more aligned you are, then the more aware you are of what's the right thing to do right now for you that's going to be the most effective thing. Back to that one foot in front of the other. It's not what you think you should do, that I should be over here doing this. Well, actually, when you're present right now and really aware, it becomes obvious what you need to do. And then you just do that thing. And naturally, momentum builds. So we don't need to overly. I love a plan, and I love working a plan. But I'm also very forgiving and compassionate when, all right, okay, that's not really working right now. I'm being present in the moment, and life is happening. It's unfolding as it's meant to be. And thankfully, having that approach helps me juggle a wide variety of responsibilities and be present with all these wonderful people I'm gifted with having in my life, rather than being caught up here, shooting.
Shooting, yes. Yeah. I wish that word had never been invented. But I was thinking about what you said too, is when we are right here, right now, and I think sharing this with people, because like I hadn't even touched on cleaning for a long time, but now I have this whole kind of like little happy thing happening from talking to you about, oh, I have a new way to go forward with this, part of which involves getting rid of the idea of how it should be. And those little should ideas, boy, do they creep in fast.
Don't they? Aha.
And then the next step will appear. And having a plan, I think having the plan is good to get you on the road. Because if you don't have a plan, then it's like, well, why should I walk anywhere? Why should I do anything? But if I know I have a plan to kind of, oh, now I got a new one. What if I let my house's vision of itself show itself to me?
Yep.
And then I can just move these things around in my house the way the house thinks they should be placed. It's a funny energy thing, but it moves me out of me having to do every single thing to make it the way it should be. So I'll let you know how it goes.
Back to that.
I said, this is what my house said it wanted today. It wanted this carpet turned over, because I have one carpet. It has two sides.
Wow.
And it looks one way on one side. It looks another way on the other side. And so anyway, I think that to be open to discovery, that's another thing that makes me really happy. And what I heard when you said, like, like if I'm just right here, right now, and the next step, I take the next step. Each step is a discovery.
Yeah. When we're open to it. When we're taking that step and choosing to keep our eyes open. Because often, when we're working a plant, sorry, I've got a fly. When we're kind of stuck in busyness and working the plan, often we have our eyes shut. So we lose that sense of discovery, which is why so many people end up way off track to where they want to be. I'm not much of a fan of the word off track. I do use it quite a lot because, the world is the world gifted to us to explore. But if you've got an idea of where you would like to end up and the kind of life experience you want to have, then it is important to put one foot in front of the other. But if we've got an eye shut while we're doing it, We might end up way over here in deeply uncomfortable territory. So encouraging ourselves to have that gift of discovery is wonderful. One foot in front of the other, eyes open. Have that full experience of that. And then it's your choice if you want to veer over there. But you're choosing to rather than ending up there.
That's so powerful, Colette. That choosing to change direction or choosing to keep going in the same direction, that power of choice, I think also is very healing. And I think sometimes people don't remember that they have a power to choose. They just get into a habit and they think that this is how it has to be.
Yeah. And for me, the power of choice, the real learning that I've had from that and through that has been trust. And for me, that's the most healing thing, is to have that trust in yourself and trust that you're okay, that I'm okay. And slowing down enough to tap into, I know what's good for me and what's right for me and what's appropriate for me. So it's looking within first before looking outside to, wonder what other people are doing. I wonder what I should do. It's press pause, get present, trust what's coming up. If you're in a clear state of mind, and again, that's to me what happiness is. It's not the up here kind of, way, life is great. That's a hedonic kind of one aspect of it. But for me, that state of real clarity is a gift. And if you're allowing yourself to get into that state, then trust what comes up. And you'll begin to recognize what your wisdom is. And that wonderful voice or that download of, this is what needs to be happening. This is the right thing for me. And what that little divilly voice is like, this is what other people think you should be doing.
Yeah.
So the more present we are and the more we're open to that discovery, we're going to naturally start to recognize the difference between wisdom and the difference between the busyness of life, and trusting our innate wisdom. That's a gift that keeps on giving.
So if people wanted to start on this path to a more happy life, what would you tell them is the first step they should do?
For me, I've already explained the foundations, and the alphabet starts with A, and so does the foundations for life. So the first principle is appreciation, and just start to appreciate where you're at right now, how supported you are. Give yourself the gift of going off on an appreciation rampage. So
explain that.
Look for all the things that are working for you, that are supporting you. Because so often we look to the things that aren't supporting and all the things that are wrong. Whereas to get ourselves into that state of clarity, we really want to feel supported. And that, from a brain science perspective, that's how that works. When we're feeling safe and secure, then we're more likely to be able to hear our wisdom speaking to us. So appreciation is just what is making your life easier or better right now. What's nice and pleasant about your life. And if you find that difficult, because hands up, I used to find that very difficult, very, very, very difficult. I was totally primed to look at all the bad stuff. Look at all that bad stuff and just flip it. And you'll notice, you will absolutely notice what's working well for you. And if you think, for example, being able to turn a light on and the light bulb coming on isn't you being supported, imagine what life would be like if you didn't have that electricity supply, if you didn't have free access to water, if the sun never came up again. Imagine all of that stuff. And then you'll notice that actually it's wonderful to have a sofa to sit on. It's wonderful to have the internet. It's wonderful to have Facebook so we can connect with people all over the world. It's wonderful that I've got a pen and I can draw pictures and I've got paper. And it's wonderful that I've got trees out there that are feeding literally my lungs and the world around us. It's wonderful that I've got a home and I've got wonderful family that's in it. And it's wonderful that I've got little groovy things like toys in the background that bring back different memories. So there's so much. We become blind to it because we see it all the time. So take off your blinkers and start an appreciation rampage.
Oh, that's beautiful. I really like that. I think that is a wonderful thing. And don't you have something coming up? Is it starting next week?
Yeah, I've got a wee life beyond lockdown experience happening where I'm introducing and deep diving into the foundations for life to help people draw a line and more consciously move into whatever normal is going to be as we move forward. So that's happening over in my Facebook group, and it starts this Thursday, so Thursday the 4th of June. Live, and anybody who signs up can access the recording and also a very groovy playbook. But you can experience that in the Happiness Hive anyway, whether you sign up or whether you don't.
All right. Well, Colette, it's just been lovely, lovely talking to you. I can't believe we waited so long to get online together. We've probably known each other for 2 years or so.
And yeah. That's the wonders of the interweb.
Yeah. And I knew we had a lot of things that were kind of in parallel. And I love happiness. I love being happy. I love being alive. I love being able to connect with people. And I love sharing ideas. And I will put all of your links so that people can connect with you and find out about the Happiness Hive. And if this is something that resonates with them now, they can try join the group. And if it's something that they need a while to think about, and then maybe they will come back around.
Absolutely. If anything of what I've said resonates, come and join me in the Facebook group. You don't need to join in anything. And when the time is right, radical acceptance, it will naturally come into your awareness. And if I'm not resonating with you, just ditch this and move on and find something else that's absolutely perfect and wonderful for you.
That's so beautiful. So thank you so much. And I will end the broadcast. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
We'll see you at the next episode.